Welcome back to the Man That Can Project podcast, lads and ladies. So thank you for your continued support, and I'm seeing a lot of you incredible people sharing the episodes around on social media and definitely using them as a tool for people to get value from. So I really appreciate that, and I'm glad you were getting value. So please continue sharing the episodes. It's helpful not only for getting the awareness out there, but the people who get the audio in their ears. So today's episode, I've got a good mate and a former client, Grayson Mcivor, jumping on the line with us, and I wanted to have Grayson in because he's come such a long way, and fortunately I get to spend a fair bit of time with him and to see his perspective on life, and just his go-getter positive attitude is unreal, and his drive to pursue better, his drive to create a better life for himself and keep himself in a solid mindset is incredible. And one of the things that I love most about him as a person is he's a really genuine person and caring person, but he is not afraid to put his hand up and ask for help. He is open to receiving feedback and just wants to be the best version of himself, and he doesn't allow ego, he doesn't allow whatever it may be to hold him back from growing into his highest potential. So you're going to learn a lot in this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be one of those ones where you want more. I know you do. It's only 36 minutes long, unfortunately, but we will do another one. And you may have to play around with the audio a little bit because we had a technical error with the application, but I've already listened to it twice and it's been unreal. So remember, guys, please, if you're getting value, share it, leave a review, slide into the DMs, and you can find Grayson on Instagram, and you'll find that in the show notes. Thanks for listening and enjoy the episode. All right, that's recording. Where did this bad boy go? All right, we're on. Good. Cool. All right, team. So I'm sitting here with Grayson, the man, the myth, the legend. I'm really excited to have him on. We were going to do this last week, and then I was about to postpone today, but we made it happen, which is unbelievable. So how many did we meet?
How do we meet?
I still remember the first time I saw you anyway. So I was coaching a fitness class at Functional. You're in there with your buddy, and we just had a few words back and forth, which was cool. And then one day I ran and we got a text message, an Instagram message. So he slid into my DM. It was unreal.
I'm good at doing that.
And and hasn't looked back since. So I've been fortunate to get to know Grayson really well over the last, let's say, 3 months.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
And heard a lot of your challenges, seen a lot of your growth, and seen you shred down as well in the gym, which has been unreal. So it's cool to have you on the show. So thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And I'm going to pass it over to you. So today we're going to uncover some gems. It's going to be like it always is, a bit of free-flowing conversation. Tell, I guess, the lads who are listening, the ladettes or the ladies who are going to be listening, a little bit more about your backstory, like where you've sort of grown up, a few of your passions that you pursued. Obviously, high-level AFL.
Yeah.
I was just going to say Aussie footballer, but yeah, same thing.
Either one.
Either or. Over to you, bro, man.
Matt, thanks for having me on. This is a first for me,
So we've got a first timer on here, guys. I hope there's a few first time listeners as well, just to make it more comfortable for you.
So I guess my story, I'm a Brizzy guy. I lived in Brisbane my whole life, really. My family's from Brizzy. School in Brizzy. I guess my passions growing up were AFL, as you touched on. I sort of played a high level of AFL growing up, or sort of in my early teens and early 20s. So growing up, that was my passion.
Yeah.
I played tennis. I was a sponsored tennis player. Sport was just my life growing up.
Tennis and AFL, what a combo.
Yeah, it's a bit different. But, so those were, I guess, my two go-tos for as a young guy growing up, trying to find myself and my value as a man, or going into manhood. That was my driver as a young person. So yeah.
What happened with the AFL? Like,
AFL, yeah.
as he rubs his knee with a million scars on it.
Yeah, my AFL career was, it was a lifelong journey, but a short-lived one when I got there.
Yeah.
As I said, I was quite a passionate AFL player, and for all different reasons, I loved the game, but it was also, I guess, an identity for me. It was something I was very confident in, very confident in my ability, and I guess it was something that canvassed a lot of my feelings as a young fellow growing up. I struggled with mental issues growing up, and that was sort of my drug of choice, or my alcohol, my way.
Drug of choice, good addiction
to have. Yeah. So as a young fella, it was my way out from the mental things that I had even as a young fella. So I guess grew up, started playing footy when I was 5, and sort of started noticing that I was probably had a chance of, I guess, making a career out of it as a young teenager. From there, I got I played a few games for the Lions reserves as a 16, 17-year-old, and from there I got picked up by the Gold Coast Suns and played an attack up for them as a young fella. I was about 18 then. Being so fresh and so raw, I didn't really understand the opportunity that I had then. I'd worked my whole life to get there, and when I was there, I just probably took it a bit for granted.
It's funny, because I can relate to that as well, but it's like we build our whole life trying to shoot that goal, but we don't know how to handle it or appreciate it when we get there. It's like, we're so focused on that athletic ability of achieving, you don't take into account the professionalism of it all and what it actually ends up being.
That's exactly right. I mean, you couldn't put it any other way. I guess the reason I got out of bed every day was to pick up a footy and run around and just better myself. And it was my passion, my drive. It was my why. And when I sort of eventually got to the point where it was the make or break, I wasn't prepared, and I wasn't. I just wasn't educated enough around the fact that all the opportunity that I had. And as I mentioned, I was at the Gold Coast. I then got released by them, and was fortunate enough to get picked up by Geelong VFL. And went down there and did a few pre-seasons there. That was a really tough, really tough time of my life. I mean, moving from Brisbane to Victoria, didn't know anyone. Freezing. So as an 18-year-old living in Melbourne, I didn't know anyone, and I knew I wanted to play footy, but it was just a really tough mental I guess thing to do. Move away from my family. My family is a huge part of my life, and it's again one of the reasons why I got there is obviously my family. So and being away from them was tough, and it just didn't work out. From there, my body turned pear-shaped. I've had 3 knee reconstructions, and a total of I think 10 surgeries on my knee and two shoulder recos. So that was the sort of the peak of my life, and then it started coming down a bit after that. So that was, I guess, from my young age to early 20s is where.
What was it like for you though? Did you ever at any point where you were at what you call the peak, like were there moments there where you actually took the time to appreciate what you'd achieved, or was it still like?
No, there was never a time I really sat back and sort of went, hey, this is where you want to be. Let's digest it and maybe just enjoy it for a while. I was always searching for more. And I mean, that's a part of my personality still to this day. I'm still searching for more, and it's something that I'm really trying to. I guess you said something to me one day is be content in the moment, but always be growing. And that's sat well with me. And that's how I'm trying to live my life at the moment. Enjoy where I'm at. But continue to grow.
Yeah.
That's
a good bit of advice.
That's it, mate.
I guess for that, what does that growth look like for you at the moment then? Now that footy's done, and actually, before even going there, like, I know a lot of people listening to this can relate in some way, shape, or form, and it may not be through AFL or whatever, but it might be rugby or chess or literally
whatever it is.
People grow up with a dream, they want to achieve something. So I believe most people do, some boxer, whatever, to achieve something special. And so you got there, you weren't in the mindset to appreciate it for what it was, and that's same with my story. What advice would you give to yourself back then, if you could?
The advice I'd give myself would probably be to slow down. To really work on my awareness. And digesting what is around me at the present time. Living in the moment. If I reflect back to those days, it was phenomenal. Like it was really a pleasure and a true pleasure to be even a part of that or considered a part of that. And I was just so, I guess, caught up in just trying to continue powering forward that I didn't digest the amazing things that were around me at the time. And that's a real tough one, a bit of pill for me to swallow. And it has been since, because trying to reflect back on it, it's hard because I can't really remember a lot of the stuff because I'm powering. I'm just so focused on getting to somewhere where I don't even know where I want to be. That makes sense.
I was talking about it this morning actually on the live, but it's like, and it's funny that comes up because another guy I had a conversation with yesterday said we want to hold on to that past version of ourselves. And it's like, if I held on to the footy player identity of myself, I wouldn't have been able to create and become who I am now. And so there's always that resistance because it's like, what if I lose that? Who am I?
Yeah, I can relate to that. I couldn't relate to that more. And it's probably up until a few days ago, sorry, not a few days, maybe a couple of weeks at the Cam meeting, where someone said something and it struck a huge chord with me. And I can't exactly remember word for word, but he made me realise that I'm living in the past. I'm living fucking 10 years ago. Like I'm holding on to the identity of me being a good footy player. And I was a fucking 18-year-old kid. And I'm 28 now, and I'm still holding on to the fact that I was a good footy player and I had a good opportunity and it didn't work out. It's like, mate, fucking move on. Get past it, because it's holding me back from things that I can offer myself as a person today. And it's taken a while to realise, but I'm glad I've realised it now, because it's almost like a weight off my shoulders, because I'm doing everything I can to discover who I am as a man now. And that was a big one for me to sort of go, now let's park it and, appreciate the fact that you had a crack. It didn't work out. But appreciate that you were there. Not a lot of people get that opportunity. And let's fucking move on and find your other passion. And
exactly. Because there's a lot of positive stuff you can take from it. It's like the fact that you've been able to play sport at the highest level. If you can do that in one aspect of your life, you've still got the understanding of how to achieve that in other aspects of your life.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's I mean, I work in an industry that is really, really competitive. I work in real estate, and for me, that's probably I guess a reflection on me, as that's probably my new game. I'm always competing with someone. I'm always trying to beat someone. Obviously real estate's about helping people move to the next stage of their lives, and you know, giving, you know, doing everything you can. But on the flip side of the coin, you have to beat someone to get that.
Yeah.
So I guess that's my source of, I guess, competition.
I think that's awesome. It's helped. Like, obviously, if you do it with integrity and stuff, it's the same for me. It's like the message I put out is, you know, people trying to achieve, I guess, the end goal.
Yeah.
Similar, we all just go about it in roundabout ways, and it's about trying to find those people who land with your way of doing things.
Absolutely.
There's obviously, in every industry, there's people who I feel lack integrity and will just do whatever they can to get a sale or to get X, Y, Z, which is fine. You know, that's their way of doing things. But as long as, like you said, you hold that integrity for yourself and do things your way, and then you know, if you lose a sale, it's like, right, what could I have done better in that process? How can I become more valuable to future clients? And it's then going, right, present in that moment, it didn't work out. I'm not going to sulk about it, but now I'm going to improve so that next time I'm in a similar situation, I'll win out on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're exactly right. I mean, integrity is the key word there for you. I mean, you got me to do an exercise when I first met you. It was finding out what my true values are as a person, and integrity is one of them.
Yeah,
but integrity is the first on the list.
Yeah,
along with love, respect, growth, health.
And when you understand those, it's like it's easy to understand why you mightn't be vibing with certain people, or why you might want to go to certain events and situations, etc., because it's like, it comes back to that. If someone's out of integrity, you're going to fucking not want to be around them.
Absolutely, man. And it's only within the last 15 weeks that I've really ripped the Band-Aid off of feeling a little bit sorry for myself, probably, or you know, just sulking about the fact that I'm not where I want to be, and actually doing something about it.
So what was it that made you want to make a change? Because there's a lot of people that know they need to make a change, but there's also that the pain's not enough for them to be like, fuck it, I need to really change it. They just say, I'll just get by with this. But life's not unreal. It's just fine. You know what I mean? Like, what was it for you that sort of made you?
There's been a few. I mean, there's been a few things that have, you know, I mean, you know, I carry a lot of shame and a lot of guilt from a few things that happened in my childhood, and I guess, you know, with the football not working out, it was, you know, again, a lot of shame and guilt, and, you know, a lot of, you know, I just don't feel great about myself.
Yep.
You know, from there, that, you know, football was my way out, and then I sort of, as a young fella, I mean, as Aussies, all men like our age do, probably turn to alcohol and partying and everything that goes with it.
Yeah.
That was my canvassing. You know, that was my, you know, that was my football then.
Yeah.
You know, I went from football to drinking.
Yeah.
And
so there's a lot of fucking dudes sitting there nodding their head going, that's me, or that has been me.
It's I hate to say it, but it's true. And both my parents felt quite unwell. Yeah. And you know, really it was a huge eye opener.
Yeah.
But it still wasn't enough of an eye opener for me to turn my life around.
Yeah.
You know, again, I hold a lot of guilt and shame over the fact that, hang on, my family, I nearly lost my family.
Yeah.
What else do I fucking need to turn my life around and move in a positive direction?
Yeah.
You know, I had a relationship breakdown through negligence and alcohol and not dealing properly with my mental issues, that I turned to drinking and partying rather than talking about it.
Yeah.
Which then affected, you know, other relationships in my life, and then my job, and it was just a ripple effect.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I was, you know, one of my mates, my best mate, said to me one day, he's like, mate, if you can't listen to your family, then, or your mum and dad, who can you listen to? Like, what is it? Like, what do you need, mate?
Yeah.
What is it that is going to turn your life around? And it really struck home for me. Like, people have said that to me before. And, you know, I've been like, yeah, I know, man. It's all, you know, I'll sort it out.
Yeah.
But for some reason, something just clicked.
Yeah.
And you know, another really good mate of mine who actually she actually told me to reach out to you.
Yeah.
She sent me a page. I started following it, and I'd skip through and be like, oh yeah, sweet, this guy's talking about yeah, this guy's a wanker. And then I'd start digesting a little bit more of the information, and it's like, and then I sort of thought to myself, what I'm doing isn't actually normal.
Yeah.
Like people, maybe 22-year-olds are out there getting on the piss and fucking around, and everything else that comes with it. And I sort of just asked myself, what is it that I actually want in my life? And for me now as a man, I'd love to be a dad one day.
Yeah.
I'd love to buy a house and move to the coast and surf every day and all those sort of things.
Dream, man.
So it was a few little things. It was my friend, my best mate, that sort of said that to me, and then my a really good friend of mine, she said, told me to sort of check you out on the Instagram, and it was just a few little things there that sort of ticked me over, and I said, fuck, mate, now's the time. If there ever is a time, it's now. And that was probably about 4 months ago now that I sort of reached out to you and said, mate, I need help.
How was that experience for you, reaching out? Because a lot of it, like I've even done in the past, where you start writing a message and you delete it. I'll get back to that. Like, especially on social media, right? It's complete. We obviously bumped into each other in the gym, which was awesome.
For me, it was. I mean, growing up, I've seen psychologists. I've taken, antidepressant medication, all these things, and I've been, I've spoken about my emotions, all that sort of thing. And my mate Emily, she said, why don't you just talk to this guy? See what he has to say. And I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And I was standing in the gym one day, and I remember I was at the bubbler getting some water, and you walked past and said, mate, how are you? And I said, and I just thought to myself, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I said, mate, I'm not that good. I'm struggling. And you said to me, mate, let me know if you want to have a chat. And I took you up on that. And yeah, so for me, reaching out to you was so different because you're a man in society that was living a life the way you wanted to live it, rather than going to someone and letting them tell you how to live it and what you need to do. You were displaying these things to me and how to do it rather than someone, telling me how to do it in a little small room with no windows and they write notes and they don't know me.
Yeah.
Whereas with you, I got to see you every day in the gym, and I got to see how you held yourself and how you talk to people, and you might not have been feeling great that day, but it's about, well, for me, getting up and just continue chipping away. So for me, it was tough, mate. Talking to a stranger about how I'm feeling and saying, mate, help me, please. Yeah, I'm struggling and I need some direction.
You think about it, and this is really relevant today because Are You Okay Day?
Yeah.
This will be obviously delayed, but it's Are You Okay Day?
I'm okay at the moment.
But one of the biggest challenges is that it's a one day a year, and it should be an every day of the year thing. Like we should be able to say, hey, what's really going on? But also on the flip side of the coin, it would have been easy for you that day to just go, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Super easy, and that's what unfortunately a lot of us men do. And it's like, that doesn't imagine where you would be if you didn't.
Mate, I couldn't tell you, mate.
Yeah. So
it scared me, I think.
Yeah. So it's having the courage. How would you describe that? Having the courage and having the need or the want to change, or like.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, how do you mean exactly?
So with like having, I don't want to say having the balls, but like having the courage to be like, fuck it, I'm not just going to give the same old answer. Like, I'm good. I'm going to tell you now, really, what's really going on. Like, is that courage for you, or what do you feel it took to do that?
Yeah, I guess it's my life that I'm toying with.
Yeah.
It was my life. It's my life. I got to spend every single day of the rest of my life with myself.
Yeah.
And I've got to love myself. And for me to do that, I have to talk about it. And for me, one of the strongest things I believe are for a man to do is to show how vulnerable they can be.
Yeah.
Mate, I've never cried so much in my life in the last 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
Obviously there's been things in my life that have, hurt me to push me to the point of crying, but, there's, I've allowed myself to do that.
Yeah.
And I feel fucking strong for doing it.
Yeah.
It's not, I'm not no macho man to stand there and say, oh, I'm fucking great, I'm fine, I'm sweet, I'll cross my arms and, don't cry.
Yeah.
I'm strong now for fucking going, you know what, man, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
And crying and saying that I need help. And so for me, that's strong. Not fucking standing there crossing your arms and not opening up. That's weak.
Awesome, man.
Yeah. So, and I mean, us men, we grow up in a society of Aussie blokes. Like my dad's exactly the same, mate. He's, that's just the way he knows.
Yeah.
But for me, I need to talk. I need to talk, and I need to communicate.
We look at how our parents have grown up, and you see so many poor relationships, shit communication, angry, resentful men.
Absolutely.
It's because we can't communicate. It's one of the most powerful things is like even when we go to the Man Can events, no alcohol, people are just spilling everything.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. And then you see the support coming around the room. Like I know one of the gents was crying the other night and they were patting him on the shoulder, like giving support, and he didn't even notice.
Yeah, for me, I was so thankful for him telling me his story because he's giving me strength to open up to the other men.
Yeah.
Like it's really
powerful. The crazy thing, the thing that gets me with this is like we provide that space for it, but in my opinion, it's like we could do that fucking anyway.
Absolutely.
You could literally have those conversations. If you were talking with a mate and you had that intention about, you know what, fuck, I want this relationship to be fucking actually meaningful and connected. It's like I'm not going to just talk when I'm drunk. I'm not going to just talk about footy and beers. Like, still have that chat, but it's like when shit's going on, I want to speak about it.
Absolutely.
It's like you can do that anywhere.
Absolutely. It's free. It's so true. And like it's, I was thinking like I've got heaps of mates, lots of really good mates, and I'm really thankful for it. But a lot of those mates are connected to drinking piss, watching footy, and fucking being idiots.
Yeah.
Excuse my language, sorry, but like,
mate, drop it.
One of my mates right now is going through such a traumatic time in his life.
Yeah.
And not one bit of him deserves it. And if there's any positive that's come out of what he's going through is the connection that we've got as men together now. Like this guy will actually be one of my best mates for the rest of my life through showing his vulnerability towards me and saying, mate, hold my hand through this process. And mate, from him doing that, I fucking have the utmost respect for this man. And he will be one of my best mates for the rest of my life through the vulnerability he showed me. Yeah. And the strength, and that's strength in my eyes.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And so, like you said, you've got a best mate for the rest of your life. A lot of us, they say we're the most connected we've ever been in human history because of our social media and our phones, but we're so disconnected.
Mate, that is so disconnected. It's not funny.
I was saying, I think I've got 17,000 followers now. I'd probably really know.
I got like 600.
I would probably really know like 100. And it blows my mind, right? This is one of the interesting things about social media. This is cool how you slid into the DMs. It's like we're all following these people. I follow people, you follow people. Yet none of us reach out to establish a relationship for whatever reason, whether it's you put them on a pedestal, you feel like they're not going to respond to you, you don't feel good enough to have a conversation, whatever that limiting belief is. But it's like you slide into DMs, now we're really good mates. I do the same. I reach out to fucking people I connect with all the time. That's how you build relationships. And I feel so many of us, don't know that next step to take, or we don't know how we're going to change our environment. But like we use it as an excuse. It's like, all my mates do this, so it's hard for me to get out. It's only hard because you're choosing not to make the change.
I'm the biggest one for that.
Yeah.
I've been, I couldn't agree with you more. And I mean, for me, the social media, the thing, we're all on social media. Yeah. It's good for a few things, but I mean, for me, I've had a lot of issues around self-image.
Yeah.
I've never been really happy with how I look.
Yeah.
and I've always found myself comparing myself to someone.
Yeah.
And or just not being happy with myself.
Yeah.
Or just the way I look.
Yeah.
And and it's, I mean, social media has a real grasp on that, because I'm always
people can roost it. All the people watching this video will be like, holy shit, slide into the DMs, all right.
Yeah, but I guess the comparing is so toxic for me in my life, and I can see it everywhere. Comparing people.
It's funny, this will be perfect for you.
Have you ever thought how comparison can be used to empower your growth rather than disempowering you? Yeah, no, see, I mean, it's
I just got a new social media title to drop, and it's perfect. Yeah. But it's that, like, comparison, and obviously body image is huge in the media, especially for girls, but obviously men, even myself.
Yeah.
And people will say, why the fuck would you let you six pack? And I'm like, yeah, cool, but like, I got a chest hair that I was so self-conscious about. Now I don't give a fuck, but like,
I got plenty of that.
Had it for years. Like, then my mate Nicky, Nicky Price.
Yeah.
For those who don't know Nicky, go jump into his.
He's fat.
He is fucking jacked.
He is.
But when I stand next to him, I'm like,
I played with him at the golf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm fucking not ripped. Like,
man, how do you think I feel standing beside you?
So the point of this is not obviously, it's like you're always going to be comparing.
Yeah.
And it's once again like always looking to the future and not being able to be present. If you're not able to be happy with where you currently are, you're always going to be miserable.
Yeah, yeah.
Because unfortunately, we're always getting older, so shit's going south.
No, absolutely is.
And so if you don't appreciate where you're at, and so that's why for me, fitness is not like the side effect of training the way I do and eating the way I do and sleeping the way I do is I have a physique that I'm happy with.
Yeah.
It's not why I do it. Why I do it is processes, is consistency, is discipline, is mental health. Like there's all these things as to why I do it and the side effect of that.
Yeah. Matter, I guarantee it. Well, I mean, I'm not sure if you agree with it. Well, I made the comment to you yesterday. I used to exercise to look good. Now I do it to feel good.
Yeah.
And, losing weight, whatever else comes with it is a bonus.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess that, comes back to who I want to be as a person. I want to have a great body and look bloody awesome, but I also want to be a really, really good person.
Yeah.
My dad, I remember as a young fella, I'd ask my dad, I'd say, my dad's mates will all knock around blokes. So I'd say, mate, Dad, what's this bloke like? And he'd always say, mate, he's the nicest bloke you'd ever met.
Yeah.
And that really sits with me a lot.
Yeah.
And I guess if I was ever to be known for something, I'd love to be known to just be one of the nicest blokes.
Yeah.
Like it's rather than being, oh mate, he's the best looking dude ever.
Yeah.
So, my shift in my mind's changed so much. I just wake up every day wanting to be the best version of myself. And sometimes I fuck up. Like there's probably not so long ago that I've had a shit day or taken a little divvy off the line that I want to be on. And fuck, I now know that it's going to happen. It's going to happen probably for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Cool.
This is a lifelong campaign of being the best I can be.
It's a fucking roller coaster. You can't have one without the other.
Oh mate, I've been on a roller coaster like this. I'm sure you have as well, and everyone.
Yeah, that's why I was going to bail today because I was fucking mentally just cooked. And then I was going to pull you after my oats. I was like,
I was going to pull you up.
Here we go with the oats and honey. But
it's a Pinot Noir to drink on the way.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what that's the thing. I think people are striving for this life where they think it's going to be. There's never going to be any challenges. Like that doesn't fucking exist.
Oh,
you're always going to have days of you'll have a streak of happiness where fuck life's good, and then bang, and you're like fuck, and we then tend to dwell more on that particular day than we do thinking about the 6 good days. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, we're negatively skewed to focus on all this shit.
Yeah,
that's just where our attention goes, and obviously that's where your attention goes. It's in the forefront of your mind.
Oh,
it controls how you feel.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree with you more. I saw a quote the other day. I put it in the group, man the can. It reads, how exciting is the fact? Oh, sorry, how exciting is it to know that some of the best days of our lives are still ahead of us.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, sometimes I get caught up in thinking, fuck, you know, I'm not, you know, young and, you know, like can do whatever the fuck I want anymore. And all those fun, happy days are gone. It's like, man,
he's getting warmed up.
It's like experience. Yeah. So it's like, it's exciting to know that. And it is, they are. So they are ahead of us.
Yeah.
Well, I believe they are.
100%. And it's what we make it, right? It's what our attention for being present. Any day can be fucking unreal. It doesn't have to be this, once again, big materialistic fucking shebang day. Like,
man,
it just is what it is. It's every day.
That's it. Well, it's cool to drive nice cars. I mean, I've never driven a nice car, but, you know, it's cool to wear nice shoes and stuff.
Of course. Like,
it's and, you know, my hat's off to you for helping me realise these things, right?
Mate, and this is what I always say when people say, hats off to you, I'm like, it's not me. Like, in my honest
provided a platform for people to open up and feel comfortable to do it, man.
But I'll take that.
You can take that one.
But then it's what I love is like men stepping up to do that, because there's more men who aren't stepping up yet. There's more men who are, unfortunately, you know, being held back by all those limiting beliefs and decisions and stuff going on in their life that's not allowing them to confidently be their authentic self.
It's amazing how toxic limiting beliefs can be, bro. And what you view of yourself.
Exactly.
It's a scary thought.
So that's this is the question. And we're going to start throwing this question in all the time now. But what does being a man represent to you? I didn't give you any time to prep for this.
What does a man represent
to you?
To me?
Being a man, or I guess what's your definition of being a man?
Definition of man to me is being able to, I mean, for me, a huge one in life as such is communication.
Yep.
And being able to talk, like just being about opening our mouth. And yeah, mate, you put me on the spot here, but
I know, as soon as you leave, you're going to go, fuck, I wish I should have said that. I always do it, don't worry.
Definition of being, I mean, it's definitely not being a macho, strong, awesome looking guy that's got the best job in the world and earns a shit ton of money. It used to be for me, but it's someone that, you know, who can support people, who's there to offer advice if it's needed.
Yep.
And yeah, just, I mean, it's no different to what I think the definition of a woman is. We're both the same, and we both have troubles. I think we're all here to help each other. And I guess just communication, and strong communication and honesty and integrity.
I like it. Unreal. So where can people find you? By that I mean, like, don't give your street address to someone else, just a handle or something like that.
Oh, what's that?
Like an Instagram handle. So
yeah, just Grayson Mcivor. Guys. I mean, I hope that this has helped someone, because
you've helped me.
And I'm here to as an ear, and you know, I'm on a lifelong journey of finding myself, and I will be into it that AI, and you know, I'm still learning, and we all are every day. And if I can listen to you and help you guys, let me know, because I'll do whatever I can.
Yeah, and we'll put your handle in there.
I need more.
But you'll always see him on my.
I need more followers, guys.
We'll be he'll be on my gram.
Awesome.
Thanks for tuning in, team.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Man That Can Project podcast. My name is Lachlan Stuart, and I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful. If you did, please take a moment to rate and review the Man That Can Project on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with our newest episodes. We'll see you again next time.